I'm here with Paul Pendola. He is the owner of Galena Spoon Company. And when I think spoons, I don't think, man, this should be a big retail aspect. But it's so fascinating, and you do so many different things. It's really spoons and beyond, right?
It is. It really is. Yeah, I've got the retail store here in Galena. Obviously, I sell my hand-carved wooden spoons, but I also make woodenware and kitchen boards, utensils and kitchen boards, wine trays and other items, which I do make in my wood shop, and then I source other makers as well. I've got some specialty food products, some linens, and a wide range of things for high-end kitchenware and woodenware.
It's a little bit of everything. I mean, so hand-carved spoon. I mean, we're here. Can you go and demonstrate?
Yeah,
what do you got going on
They
here?
really are hand-carved, and so I carve using what's known as a green woodworking or green wood method, and it's really just using fresh felled wood that's has a high moisture content, and it's referred to as green.
It's nice, it's moist. So, I mean, the more moisture that leaves, the harder it's going to be to carve.
It is harder, yeah, and there are many spoon carvers that carve seasoned dried wood. It's just not my preference. So this is a piece of green wood, and I actually source all of my wood from the Galena Hoofit goat trek business.
Oh, okay, yes,
The family owns 300 acres, and the grandfather has a sawmill. So I get all of my green wood, and a lot of the wood for my cutting boards from the family that own Hoofit.
I love that idea. I love the idea that this is wood that is from the area.
Yeah.
I mean, it's local, and it's a man who's carving it locally right here,
Exactly.
and then it can go out for everywhere and everywhere.
Exactly, yeah, and it needs to stay green. So this came down green. It's been held green until I'm ready to carve it. So this is a piece of wet green wood that's in a spoon blank form. And once I get done carving that with hand tools, and I'll really just use, I call it the 1-2-3 method. It's a single piece of wood, 2 hands, and 3 tools. And the tools are a small hand hatchet to remove the bulk material.
Okay.
I have a carving knife, which I would use, and I don't know what this would look like from the camera angle, but it's quite a safe cut. My hands are underneath, and I would do this, what's called a reinforced pull, and cut towards myself, or I could also do these thumb pivot cuts.
Right.
And I would shape the spoon into this.
Carve away everything that's not a spoon, pretty much.
Exactly. It's all about removing material.
Yeah.
And once that's fully carved, I let it dry. And then I apply a natural linseed oil, which is basically flaxseed, and a little bit of beeswax, and this is what the finished product would look like.
This is, I mean, going from here to here, a little bit more rough, and then the totally finished.
Right, all done with the tools that you see here. So that's the traditional method.
Okay.
The rest of the products that I make, the saute paddles, the cutting boards, I have a conventional wood shop in my cottage. And that's also where I teach classes, spoon carving classes.
Yeah,
at the cottage.
tell me a little bit about the classes.
Yeah, so there's a couple different classes. So I teach 3-hour spoon carving classes on Thursday and Sunday morning from 9 to noon. You can register for those on my website at galenaspoonco.com. And you just show up with a good attitude. I promise that you'll leave with 10 fingers and a spoon that you carved yourself.
3 hours, I can walk away with my very own spoon.
Right, and we do a little bit of the axing work as a group, just to talk about how that would work in terms of breaking down a log and getting to something that's manageable. But what I do is hand out different shapes of spoons, coffee scoops, cooking spoons, serving spoons, you get to pick. And so we start with a blank, and in 3 hours you go home with something that your version of a
Something
spoon.
that hopefully will be useful. Now, I find that this is very interesting because it's spoons. I mean, did you just wake up one day and just start, I gotta make a spoon? Or how did you get into it?
A little bit, yeah. I was actually living in London from 2011 to 2014. So I worked in the food industry, and my last sort of chapter of that was I was working in pricing strategy for global restaurants. And we were doing big data analytic type pricing strategy work. So I was in London for 3 years, and this green woodworking culture, or even skewing into more like bushcrafting or survival skill, is actually quite popular. It was more popular in Europe at the time. It's actually becoming more popular in the States. So I must have gotten the bug when I was there. And when I got back to the States in 2014, I self-taught myself how to carve spoons, and I was working around a lot of chef and bakers and restaurant operators, and they were an enthusiastic audience to take my early editions, and they all said nice things. I don't know if they were
How much they meant.
good, bad, or indifferent, but I had an enthusiastic audience. And so after 3 years, I realized I had something really special, and I could turn that into a business. So I moved to Galena 6 years ago.
Okay.
And I was still working a corporate job remotely. And and just started testing the waters. It was a hobby that continued to grow. And 3 years ago, I opened the store.
So, Paul, you're coming from a food background. You're making food utensils. You're very involved with, but you're also doing some specialty food items here in your store.
Right. Yeah, I've got a number of products. I have honeys from Mexico and also Spain. I've got some really terrific flavored maple syrups from Connecticut, chai flavored and bourbon flavored.
Interesting.
They're delicious. And I actually have a lot of products from a company called the French Farm. I get their sea salts, some of their mustards, and some of those other products. And again, I lived in Europe.
Sure.
I went to graduate school in Paris and culinary school there, and then I was in London for a number of years. So I have brought some of that interest into the store, and it's been a nice added dimension.
Things you enjoy that you think would pair well, or
Right.
bring your products to life a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, I have a number of partners. So here in Galena, every couple years, there's a company that comes in from California by the name of Outstanding in the Field. And they've really taken farm to table dinners and turned them upside down, and they do table to the farm.
Okay.
So they go to 20 countries, they go all over the US, and put on a one-night dinner in a unique location, like in a vineyard or in the middle of an apple orchard or something. And they hire a local chef, a local grower, local artist, and typically a local winery. So they're coming to Galena August 2nd, but they actually use my serving utensils and boards all over the country.
Wow. Getting your name out there, that's huge.
Yeah, huge. And then this year, this board behind me here, this floral board, I don't know if I can reach that back there.
Yeah.
This is a board that, so I do laser engraving, and this is a lotus flower design. So I'm doing a series of floral boards that'll be on display at the Illinois State Fair this year, at the Illinois Tourism booth out there. So, I'm getting my products out, and that's really been helpful for the business.
I find this so interesting. Of course, this is beautiful, but also I find it so interesting going from handcrafted wooden spoons, an art that's been around for centuries and centuries and centuries, probably thousands, and then you've got handcrafted laser engraved. It's something that is very state of the art that really brings a different flair to it as well.
These are really important to me as a small business owner.
Yeah, you're getting your name out there, getting these beautiful products out there. This is just, it's a rich world of spoons that I didn't know that much about, but I'm happy to learn
I think
more.
most people are surprised at the vast and varied array of products that I offer, but it's pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. Oh, exciting. Paul, thanks for having us in.
Thank you for coming.